The word angel might sound too big or too spiritual for some people to accept. But being called an angel isn't about having wings or living in heaven. It's about the way someone lives on earth. It's about the energy they carry, the peace they bring, and the protection they offer, without needing anything in return. In many old stories, angels appear not as loud heroes, but as quiet protectors. They guide without pushing. They defend without demanding credit. They show up when things are darkest, bringing light, calm, and clarity. Doesn't that sound like the Sigma male? This video explains why some Sigma men need to accept that they're more than different. They might be the quiet angels of this world. Not because they're perfect, not because they try to be, but because they carry the same energy, strength without pride, guidance without control, and truth without noise. We're going to walk through 6 powerful reasons why this label fits them, even if they've never considered it before. And by the end, one thing will be clear. The Sigma male doesn't just stand apart. He uplifts, protects, and leads in ways that make him feel less like a man and more like something timeless. Let's begin with the first reason. Reason number 1, quiet guardianship in solitude. The Sigma male doesn't seek leadership, but people often follow him anyway. He doesn't try to protect others, but his presence makes people feel safer. This is not because of force, but because of peace. And that makes him something very rare, a quiet guardian. Unlike loud personalities who lead with words or power, the Sigma male leads by example. He stands firm when others fall apart. He thinks clearly when others panic. And in doing so, he becomes a guide, even if he doesn't ask to be one. Many people feel alone in their problems. But when they meet a Sigma male, they feel like someone understands. Not because he offers advice, but because he listens without judgment. His calm is healing. His silence is support. His presence is steady. This is what guardians do. They don't always fight battles with swords or raise their voices. Sometimes they protect others by simply being strong, silent, and near. The Sigma male does this naturally. He also watches from a distance. He doesn't need to be in the middle of everything to make an impact. He can sit quietly, see what others miss, and step in only when it matters. That's how a true guardian moves, only when needed and always with purpose. His solitude gives him strength. While others are distracted by noise, crowds, and opinions, the Sigma male grows stronger in silence. And that strength becomes protection, not just for himself, but for others too. There are moments in life when someone needs support without being asked questions. The Sigma male knows when to speak and when to just stand beside you. That rare skill doesn't come from books. It comes from a deep understanding of people, pain, and peace. This is why people often feel better around him, even if nothing is said. They feel safe, not because of what he says, but because of how he holds space. That quiet energy, that steady support, is exactly what angels are known for. They protect from the shadows. They help without claiming credit. They stand between people and danger, not by shouting, but by simply being there with strength that doesn't shake. The Sigma male does this. And whether he knows it or not, he acts like a guardian. Not every angel has wings. Some wear quiet strength, sharp minds, and silent courage. The Sigma male is one of them. Reason number 2, moral core that shines in darkness. When the world goes dark, some people go with it. They bend, break, or fall into the same traps as everyone else. But the Sigma male doesn't move like that. He walks by a different light, his own moral code. And no matter how dark things get, he doesn't change direction. This strong inner code is rare. It's not based on rules from outside. It's not something he was told to follow. It comes from within. He knows what's right and wrong, not because someone said so, but because he feels it deep inside. This moral clarity makes him hard to control. He won't lie to gain power. He won't cheat to get ahead. He won't join the crowd just to feel safe. That kind of strength is hard to find, and even harder to shake. When systems fail and people fall into panic or fear, the Sigma male stays centered. His values don't shift just because the world is changing. This is the same kind of light angels are said to carry, an energy that never dims, no matter how dark it gets. This inner light is not loud. He doesn't go around preaching or trying to change people. He simply lives his truth. And by doing that, he becomes a reminder to others of what's possible: honesty without fear, strength without cruelty, peace without weakness. Because of this, people often come to him during times of trouble. Not for solutions, but for clarity. His steady values give others a place to rest. They may not agree with him, but they respect that he doesn't move. That respect turns into trust. And that trust gives him silent influence. Evil doesn't like men like this. Systems built on lies can't stand people who live in truth. That's why the Sigma male is often targeted, misunderstood, or pushed aside. But no matter what's thrown at him, he stands firm. That's not stubbornness, it's purity. Not the kind that says, "I'm better," but the kind that says, "I won't become what I hate." In a world full of broken promises, shallow motives, and shifting values, the Sigma male becomes a mirror. And that mirror reflects something rare, a man who hasn't sold his soul to fit in. This moral fire makes him glow from the inside. And just like a lighthouse doesn't chase ships, it simply stands and shines, the Sigma male becomes a light for others without trying. That's not just leadership. That's something angelic. Reason number 3, intuitive insight that feels otherworldly. Some people rely only on facts, steps, and logic. But the Sigma male is different. He listens to something deeper, his intuition. He senses what others can't. He picks up on feelings, danger, lies, and energy. This isn't magic. It's instinct. And it often feels like he's seeing with more than just his eyes. This deep awareness is one of the strongest signs that the Sigma male walks in a way that feels spiritual. He doesn't just react, he reads between the lines. He sees the truth behind someone's words. He notices when something feels off, even if no one else does. It's common for Sigma males to walk into a room and instantly feel the mood. They don't need to hear gossip or see drama unfold. They already know who's real and who's hiding something. This comes from years of observing instead of speaking. They've trained their minds to stay open and their senses to stay sharp. This kind of insight is hard to explain to others. It's not based on proof. It's a feeling. But time and time again, the Sigma male is right. His instincts protect him. They guide him. And they often guide others too. Many people feel confused in moments of pressure. But the Sigma male stays still. He listens. Not just to words, but to the air, the tone, the energy. This quiet listening allows him to move in the right direction before problems explode. And when people realize he saw it coming, they start to respect his quiet insight. This is what makes him feel like more than just a man. His calm awareness, his timing, his vision, it all feels bigger. Like he's connected to something higher that's feeding him the right steps. That's what angels are said to do. They don't just act, they're guided. They move with purpose, sensing danger and delivering peace. They don't need to see everything to know what's coming. They just know. The Sigma male moves the same way. This is why people often say he gives off a strong presence. Even without speaking, his energy says a lot. People feel like they can trust him. They feel like he understands things on a level that others can't reach. His insight also helps him avoid traps. He can sense manipulation, false charm, or hidden motives long before others catch on. That's why he rarely stays in toxic places. He doesn't wait to be hurt. He leaves before it happens. Over time, this instinct turns into wisdom. He learns to trust it fully. He doesn't explain his choices to others. He doesn't need anyone to agree. If his gut says no, that's enough. That kind of trust in self is rare and powerful. This deep inner guidance isn't just a gift. It's proof that the Sigma male operates on a different level. He's not just smart, he's tuned in. And that tuning connects him to something many people can't name, but always feel. Reason number 4, independence that defies temptation. The Sigma male doesn't need approval, attention, or followers. He walks alone by choice, not by force. This independence makes him strong, but also pure. Because when you don't need the world can't corrupt you. And that's another reason he reflects something angelic. Most people want to fit in. They shape their choices around trends, likes, and the fear of being left out. But the Sigma male doesn't bend like that. He knows who he is. He knows what matters. And no outside reward is strong enough to pull him off his path. This is why temptation doesn't work on him. You can offer him money, fame, or power, and he won't flinch. If it doesn't align with his values, he'll walk away. Not because he's trying to prove anything, but because it doesn't feel right. That deep sense of right and wrong is his shield. Angels in old stories were never tempted by wealth or pride. They stood firm, even when the world around them broke apart. The Sigma male follows that same pattern. Not loudly, but deeply. He refuses to trade truth for comfort. This independence is often misunderstood. People may think he's cold, proud, or distant. But they're wrong. He simply doesn't let the world control him. And that kind of strength comes from years of knowing what's real. Because he isn't part of the crowd, he sees the flaws in it. He doesn't chase short-term rewards. He plays the long game. He'd rather wait and do things the right way than take a shortcut and lose himself. That's what makes him pure. Not perfect, but clean from the lies, tricks, and deals that trap others. His life is harder because of it. But his soul stays free. Reason number 5, unshakable inner peace. When life breaks down and people panic, the Sigma male stays calm. He doesn't shout. He doesn't run. He doesn't lose control. Instead, he becomes even more focused. This deep inner peace is one of his most powerful traits, and it sets him apart from almost everyone around him. This peace isn't fake. It's not forced. It comes from inside. The Sigma male doesn't wait for the world to be perfect to feel okay. He builds his peace from within. That's why no storm can take it away. People around him feel this calm. They may be in stress, fear, or confusion, but when he walks in, the energy shifts. He brings balance. He brings stillness. That's not something you can teach. It's something that comes from years of inner work. This kind of energy is what makes people feel safe around him. They may not know why, but they trust him. They lean on him without asking. And in times of pain, they remember his presence, even if he said nothing. That kind of peace is rare. And it's also holy. Not in a religious way, but in a human way. It reflects control, purpose, and strength. And in many stories, that's exactly what angels bring when they appear, peace that passes understanding. The Sigma male may not talk about spirituality, but he lives it. His peace is proof. And it's not something he shows, it's something he carries, quietly, everywhere he goes. Reason number 6. Purpose-driven path that guides others. The Sigma male doesn't live by accident. He may seem like he's just doing his own thing, but behind every move is purpose. He doesn't follow trends. He follows something deeper, an inner voice, a calling, a clear direction that comes from within. And whether he knows it or not, this path ends up guiding others. This kind of living isn't easy. When you walk your own way, you face doubt, judgment, and pressure to change. But the Sigma male doesn't fold. He knows why he's here. Maybe he can't put it into words, but he feels it. That's what makes his presence powerful. People around him take notice. They may not say it out loud, but they watch him. They wonder how he stays so focused, how he avoids the noise, how he keeps his peace. That quiet example becomes a light, just like a guide who shows the way without forcing anyone to follow. He's not looking for followers, but he gets them anyway. Not because of what he says, but because of how he lives. Others sense his strength and start changing how they think. They question their own choices. They slow down. They reflect. All because of one man walking in truth. This is how angels are described in many stories. They don't force. They don't push. They simply move with purpose, and that energy pulls people toward better choices. That's exactly what happens when the Sigma male is true to his path. He inspires by example. He lifts without lifting a finger. And even though he may never know the full effect he has, others feel it long after he's gone. He also doesn't ask for thanks. He doesn't need credit. In fact, he often doesn't notice how many people are watching. He's focused on his mission, his goal, his reason for being. That's what makes him pure. He serves something higher than fame, money, or praise. This kind of life isn't loud. It's not flashy. But it's powerful. Because in a world full of noise, someone walking in silent purpose stands out. The Sigma male walks like that. And every step he takes becomes an invitation for others to find their own path. In this way, he becomes a guide, not by title but by truth. Not by words but by presence. And that role, quiet as it is the same one angels have always played. The Sigma male doesn't need wings to be angelic. His strength, his truth, his peace, and his purpose all shine in quiet ways. He uplifts without noise, protects without credit, and guides without pride. Whether he accepts it or not, his presence is proof he's more than different. He's divine.